doing rule aggregation, right?
Yeah.
Rule says, I want to see if a file fail login, right? I want to trigger alert. Someone need to investigate if someone making guess of my password.
Yeah.
The aggregation, right?
Yeah.
So if you send in one event each time, I have to cache those 5 events in my memory.
Understand.
Right? Then I try trigger.
So okay.
I have saved these 5 events in my data in my backend. Right?
That part I fully understand what you're talking about. You're saying for the connector, let connector sending events to ESM directly. As the secondary destination, ESM connector can also send to Logger for the archiving purpose and for the quick search purpose. No, that won't be impact any of the things, right?
Yeah. So basically, the ESM, like the connector doing aggregation for you. You have a use case like connector aggregating all maybe 10 or 100 events into like few events. They send it over. You immediately say, "Oh, I already made my 5. I immediately fire the alert for someone to looking at it, right? You reduce the number of times firing, and also you reduce the false positive or not getting fired because events getting accumulated on 5 seconds, right? Immediately coming over, immediately triggered. You see what I'm saying?
I see,
right?
But there's a
you don't send one event at a time and then getting cache and then that events coming.
We have a scenario. We have a scenario here. I need maybe you put some comments on that. One benefits we currently getting from the put logger in the middle is for now we having all the events received on logger, but we only send maybe 60% of events from logger to ESM. So for on logger currently we do another levels of control and the filter. You understand what I mean? If we do all these filter on connector, we need to do like we have more than 100 connector. We need to do a lot of different times, and sometimes if they forgot to apply filter on this connector, we can't keep our configuration consistent. You know what I mean? But with logger, that would be easier. We have only maybe one logger pool. We when we configure destination, we always apply the filter to the ESM destination. It won't be missed.
Yeah. Well, again, logger pool is good. I just want to separate the two. One is for compliance. You can do whatever you need long term. There's a business. There's a big business that they need. The government want to audit you. You can show those. Okay. The ESM, the primary of ESM is to real time. Whatever you can do to real time that help secure. That's what ESM is really. You want the ESM doing that.
Okay, understand.
And with the logger pool, let me tell you, you think a logger pool is good? Logger pool is really have one connector. That's really one, and that's actually not. It's a kind of poorly designed connector. That's a forwarder. Okay, they're not as good. Really not. They could just they're just dummy as sending events over. Right, but with ESM, right? In the ESM, if I do have the ESM, I probably still have that, right? You can go to the connector, right? You can develop a filter. You can develop a contents right over there.
Yeah, I got your point. Yeah.
Right. It's so easy for SOC, for anyone. Configure. They don't have to go to RCMC. They can just design and define what I want.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just waiting
that part I totally understand. So the other thing I want to hear something from you. You mentioned about what about the ESM? So this time we want to onboarding multiple ESM to share the load. But you just mentioned distribution ESM. You're facing some headache. So what would be your suggestion?
I don't want you to talk to our PM. I will get killed for PM. But in realistic, for example, this batch, right? Yeah. You can then do filter here. You can go to content. You can do aggregations. Whatever you want. Right? You can do it on the ESM. right? I think our PM is trying to push, try to leverage. I mean, he's in charge of getting distributed out, right? But so he's like the customer to use it distributed. I would say start with compact. If you really knows about distribute, then you can always add it to distribute. But if you say coming from distribute back to compact, it's not supported, right? Now, if you have really lot like this, why not put the ESM? So I understand there's maybe too many connectors and all these things. Time to maybe separate the role. So you can have two. Normally, in past we have a customer who said that maybe two ESM, for example. One ESM maybe only to perform work, the other ESM to syslog.
We also think about that way before, but the thing is the customer really want to have a centralized, the dashboard, the use case portal.
Listen, right. So these are two ESM. They can process very high EPS, but every time so alert get sent to top tier, right? The top tier is where you have for all the interest of events that you can have over there, right? So all the SOC is on the top tier, ESM, right? So they can create queries and they can doing a lot of bad things, but it's not going to affect the injection, right? They can bring down the top tier, but your low tier still process ESM, still processing your events. You get it?
Well, I get it. But what about the single? Oh, okay. From ESM to ESM, we're gonna using the super connector, right, to do that?
Yes.
Okay. So, what about the single point of failure? If one ESM down, how we can, guarantee business continuity?
If like a low tier, right? This is also good for us because we are actually sell more ESM, but it's also low tier. If one ESM down, at least you have the other tier ESM still running.
Yeah.
They can still doing works. If your top tier file bad, maybe just redirect those events into top tier.
You mean on the connector level, we do the backup destination things?
You can do that. I mean, what I'm saying, see, if you have used a cluster, the one of things, do not think of the cluster in the distributed cluster, distributed correlation is fault tolerant. They are not. It's actually in our guide, we actually say that. It's for performance. It's not for fault tolerant. It's for horizontal scaled performance.
Yes.
So you can have rules and not running on others. Right?
Yeah.
Right? But it's not for tolerance. If you say single point failure, that's a single point failure. Right? It's not fault tolerant. If you have a multiple tier ESM, at least one down, you still have a half business running fine. Now, you can try to send in the events to the other tier, or you can send events to top tier. Right? I mean, you just have to maybe have another ESM running. Each tier have another backup ESM.
I know what you mean.
Right.
So, but the thing is, if we using multi-tier, not using the distribution mode, right? If we buy the same 5 ESM, we're using for different purpose. For example, the first EM, we're looking after syslog events. The second one looking after whatever, the Windows or something. But these arrangements needs to be done manually, right? So, but with distribution mode, as you mentioned, the performance-wise, they automatically share the load averagely to different workers. So we don't need to worry about which ESM manager, which use case, which correlation rules on which ESM, right? But with the first scenario, we need to design this by ourselves. We need to clearly know the first ESM doing what job, second ESM doing what job, third ESM.
Yes. Yeah. Don't you actually? Would that be good that you know which ESM is doing what?
I don't know. It's a customer's call.
Just like panic. Wait, where it is, right? I mean, how would you? Okay, in distributed ESM, like there are 4-5 nodes. I don't know. I think you you can maybe one of those use a distributed ESM to test out. Yeah. Okay, one tier ESM, right? You can still do it, right? I see if this is a really good idea or not. To me, I don't think tier distributed ESM, talking about back pressure, talking about all those things. Okay. Compact ESM, if you're doing well, it's 20K EPS you're going to get.
Per ESM, right?
Per ESM. 20K as high as 40K EPS. It's if you have good IO. Okay, but still, that's a lot. But then distributed, maybe it's CME, which is Chicago Merchant. Right, they have about 100K. They used to be 70K. I got them to 100K. Now the PS has happily retired. John Dixon is there now.
Okay.
Before was burned anyway. Yeah. So to me, if you want to build this. So, for example, I was talking about doing tiered ESM. You can also try different department, right? Different group, different use case. You can do it, and what they call the top tier is a presentation layer.
Yeah. I understand. I know what you mean. Yeah. I know
with presentation. With the presentation layer, you can actually have a longer retention period because the events that's sending up maybe only 3K each.
Yeah, only 10 times
right?
of the.
You can actually
only 10% of the whole EPS. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Only the alerts, the use case, the triggers. There are two questions, Alan, for you. To your knowledge, are there many of customers using distribution mode in global wide?
I think we have fair amount now. I know CME, I know Ericsson, I know used to be T-Mobile, but I'm not sure where they are now. There are a few people that's doing distribute, and every time when I see distributed performance problem, we try to hide it. Because the Kafka bus and all those things. For example, the Kafka bus, right? They balance if you one node down and then the other. It's not as good.
It's
ESM you just start it up, everything's running. But eventually, we probably have to get to distributed ESM. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Okay. I'm not going to name names. And I do not want, I cannot recommend, I cannot say bad thing about distributed ESM. But when some developers say, Alan, if you see customers, let them to stay with compact. Don't go to distributed.
Was that because of it's a big challenge to do the troubleshooting and also operation wise that you already seen some of the critical tickets, something like that?
It's because I know.
Oh, okay.
Kafka bus, even internally,
broken,
that's even it's not our stuff. We just support it.
Yeah.
If some problems it's hard to troubleshoot.
Yeah, just like your load balancer, we eventually get rid of the upside load balancer.
I tell you, my previous job, which is I was let go.
Yeah.
It was doing what they call MQ series. Okay, so my previous job was I was doing Java. For Java application, which which sending, it's automating shop floor, the automating the manufacturing.
Yeah.
Right. You have to send in recipes or bill of material, right? You're tracking those, where they are and all these things. Nestle, they're chocolate manufacturing, right? We use the MQ. So we decide, okay, let's use MQ. We send this message and then subscriber then get it consumed, right? Everything seems ideal, automated, very nice. But the problem is, you send it, which shop station was going to get it? We don't know. How are you going to troubleshoot in that? Right? Eventually, they just said, no, it cannot be done. And eventually, we just fall back to our own Java. And lost a lot. You spend a lot of time. Same thing with ESM, right? Takes from 6.0? When we first come out, right? Take up to 6.9, we stabilized.
Yeah.
Okay. It's running really well from that point, from 6.9, 6.11.
Yeah.
Onward,
I see that. Yeah. 6.9, I think, stay in our production for the longest time. I think 5 years or something.
You need I'm actually the contributor 6.9, the active list. And there's also a large memory, memory.
Okay.
That's a 6.9. That's how many years we getting here, right?
Yeah.
Distributed. How many years has gone? How many customers has really used it? It's getting much better now. I'm not saying it's not. We're getting better. I mean, that's what I like. ArcSight is we're making better each time. At least I also like Micro Focus to try to be innovative, right? To create it. But again, you know this developer. When this developer go to customer, no talk with customer. Understand how the customer use it, right? So they making these things in their head, and they just come up functionally. But when it's going out, right, they finding, there's things not good. We have to do this, and they put in Band-Aid solutions and all those things, right?
Yeah, I'm just personally, I'm just curious why you guys doing the event broker, this type of thing. Why not just open your architecture design? For example, you can let your ESM and the logger work with the open source Kafka, right? Because we have a professional guys looking after Kafka platform. If something wrong with the event broker, we have no choice but we have to raise ticket to your guys. If your guys not very familiar with our environment, not familiar with Kafka, then basically he's not gonna address the case, right? He's gonna escalate to your R&D. If you open the architecture design, it's saying ESM supports the open source Kafka. Then basically, if something wrong with the event broker, we're not going to your guys. We're going to the Kafka team. Let them to address the problem. You got my point.
Yeah. Then we're not going to get in anywhere. So, for example, ESM, we don't call Kafka. We call what? We call Ambas. Ambas control. If you're looking at the ESM, like in distributed, it's already difficult. But if you let it be, then customer have all kind of different things and variations. The installation will become nightmare. The support will become nightmare. They manage it so that it's hopefully it's become easy to support. Hopefully.
But it takes time, right?
The installations and all these things. So, just like ESM company, you just install everything done, right?
One thing, I still, I guess you want to get an answer from Ning whether the ROS search is it still